Okay. Tell me about the two different types of solids, amorphous solid and crystalline solid.
One minute, sir. I'll just.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Amorphous solid. It is a solid which has no defined form. It is
Good
either
morning, sir.
geometric or
Yeah.
crystalline. Example: glass, plastic, and
Example, glass.
sorry,
Yeah.
plastic.
Plastic. Good.
Sir, I
What
have that example.
Okay. What about the crystalline solid?
Sir, it is a solid meter which contains such as atoms, ions, and are arranged in highly ordered microsurface structure, forming a crystal lattice that extends in all directions. Example: glass and wax.
Okay. Good. The remaining people.
So I have to do liquid and gas also.
Yeah, liquid in glass. I'll ask you. That's okay. Afterwards, sometime.
Sir, I can, sir, I did, sir, just I'm taking out my notebooks, sir, I just joined the
Sir, can
class.
I?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Raghav.
Yes, sir. Sir, so now what is amorphous? Amorphous means that without a definite shape or form. Now, so amorphous solid will be solids that lack an ordered internal structure. That atoms and molecules will not be arranged in an ordered manner. So they are called as amorphous solids. Examples will be rubber and plastic. Now, glass is one of the most important examples because it is made up of cooling mixture of material that does not crystallize. So now, if you go to crystalline solids, there the atoms and molecules they will be really arranged in a really highly ordered manner. So the examples will be quartz, rock, mica, sugar, and snowflakes, etc. Yes, sir. That's homework.
Sir, I've given a big differentiation, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So first I will go with the amorphous solid, sir.
Yeah.
The particles of the constituents in the amorphous solids are arranged irregularly. They do not possess any kind of definite geometry and have a shorter range order. Amorphous solids do not have sharp melting points. They do not have an external regularity when they are formed. The amorphous solids usually exhibit irregular cut edges. Amorphous solids do not have any specific heat of fusion. They, on the other side hand, do not possess any rigidity. The deformation could be achieved by even by bending them or even compressing them.
Very good.
So then, yes, sir, crystalline solids, sir. Crystalline solids pose a definite and regular geometry and consist of both long range and as well as short range order of its constituent particles. Crystalline solids tend to have high and distinct melting points. The external form of crystals tend to have regularity when they are formed. Crystals tend to give a clean surface when they are cut with knife. They possess a different heat of fusion. The mild distorting forces cannot deform crystalline solids when they are rigid in nature. Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Next one. Ritvik Reddy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me what is the miscible liquids and the immiscible liquids?
Sir, 1 second, can you give me?
Yeah. And turn
Yes,
on your
sir.
cam,
No,
everyone.
sir,
Turn.
miscible liquids are ones that can be controlled together. Like water and ethanol.
Okay. The next one.
So immiscible liquids are two liquids that are that cannot cannot be mixed together. Like they will change their color if we try to mix them.
Okay.
Like
So
oil and water.
the simple example is miscible liquids means two liquids will mix thoroughly within each other. Two liquids which they will mix thoroughly within each other. Those are the miscible liquids. Like you said, ethanol and the water, or you can take milk and the water. If you take milk and the water, they will mix each other thoroughly, right? And immiscible liquids
Yes,
means
sir.
they will not mix properly. They will not mix at all. Two liquids which will not combine or which will not mix it together are called as an immiscible liquids. Example, oil and water. Okay. So next one is the gases. So Satvika.
Sir, in gases, diffusion refers like they both have kinetic energy, and diffusion is higher at kinetic energy while effusion is lower at kinetic energy. So it passes through small holes.
Okay. Vedika.
Yes, sir.
What about the diffusion?
So I wasn't there in the last class.
Okay. So next, who will say the answer for the diffusion? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. What about Jeshmita? Jeshmita, Likita.
Sir, can I?
Wait, Raghav. Jeshmita, Shreya, Likita, Pallav, Sahasra. So these people didn't give any answer till now.
So this is my
Sir, I
first
can
class.
tell,
Sahasra?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the diffusion?
So this is my first class. I have not attended
Okay, no problem.
the first.
The next one, Jeshmita.
sir, I can tell.
Yes, sir. Diffusion means a movement of a substance from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Sir, for effusion, I did not get the correct definition. Sir, but I wrote the causes of diffusion. Effusion.
Okay. Then
Effusion is the process in which gas escapes from a container through a hole.
escape it through container through.
Hole, sir.
Okay. Good.
Sir, even I wrote something like that only.
Okay, good.
Sir, I wrote effusion refers to the movement of gas particles through a small hole.
Yeah, that is only the definition, exact definition. Raghav?
Sir, even I wrote the same.
Sir, can
Sir,
you hear
but
me now?
Yeah, I'll
Sir,
explain.
in diffusion, I wrote it is the movement of substance from area of high concentration to low concentration. So examples would be perfume, cigarettes, oxygen from leaves and all.
Okay, next. What about Jeshmita?
Sir, can you
that's
hear
not
me now?
correct,
I have a network issue, so I cannot say the answer.
Who is
Sir,
this?
for effusion, I wrote it is a
The
similar
Pallav,
process
sir, I
in
was
which
having
gas.
a network issue.
Yeah,
Sir,
but
I also
1
wrote
minute,
something,
please.
sir.
1 minute, please.
Okay, sir.
If 2 or 3 are speaking at the same time, it will be a disturbance for me and you also, right? So you can wait and you can speak one by one. Yeah, Pallav, I will
Sir,
give you the
for
chance. Okay. So Shreya, what is your answer for the diffusion and effusion?
So diffusion, I wrote it the same as everyone else, like gas moving from an area of high concentration to low concentration. But sir, effusion, as far as I remember, it is like a gas getting like effused into like an object or something. I don't know the exact definition.
Okay. So Pallav, what is your answer? Pallav.
Yes, sir. I wrote for diffusion. It is the process of converting the high posture into low posture type of thing, sir.
Okay. What about the effusion?
Sir, effusion is the gas escape from a container through a diameter hole, sir.
Okay. So listen carefully. Everyone knows the amorphous solid, right? I will give the definitions. Just listen, okay?
Sir, I wanted to tell sir.
Which one?
Sir, the gases, sir, diffusion and effusion.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, diffusion refers to like it is faster at higher temperature because the gas molecules have greater kinetic energy, and in diffusion, the moment if they both, I'm telling the same only. It's both of diffusion. In diffusion, the movement of particles from a high area of concentration to one low concentration will be. Now, effusion. Effusion refers like to the movement of gas particles through a tiny hole or small hole. Gas molecules. Gas particles, gas molecules.
Okay, listen carefully. Very good, Shreyasi. So amorphous solid means what? These are not the true solids. These are called as pseudo solids. What is the meaning of pseudo solids? Amorphous solids are called as pseudo solids. Means that is not the true solids. Okay.
In that P is silent.
Yeah. In that P is silent. So these are called as pseudo solids. That the meaning of pseudo is not the true. They are the false solids, and they don't have the long range order. So if you take a amorphous solids now, the particles inside the solids are not arranged properly. They arranged in the random manner like this. But if you take the crystalline solid, they are called as true solids. And whatever the particles are there in the solid, they arranged in the regular pattern like this. So this is the difference between the amorphous solid and the crystalline solid. And like Shreyas said so many points about the amorphous and crystalline, those are very important in the class 12th. Okay. So if you want all those points what has Shreyas said, you can refer to the class 12th textbook, NCERT textbook. In the first chapter itself, it is there. Okay, they can be amorphous solids can be have the rough surface. Crystalline solids will have the clean, smooth surface when you cut with the help of the knife. They have the high melting point, boiling point. All these are required at the higher class only. But just basic definition is amorphous solids are not the true solids. They are called as pseudo solids, and the particles are not arranged in the regular pattern in the case of amorphous solid. When you go for the crystalline solid, they are called as true solids, and all the particles inside the solid is arranged in the regular pattern in the case of crystalline solids. So example for the crystalline solids are quartz. An example for the amorphous solids are the rubber, plastic, glass. Glass is the best example for this, the most common example. Okay, so this is all about the amorphous solid and the crystalline solid. Then we'll come to the miscible liquids. Miscible liquids means what? Two liquids
Which can be mixed completely.
which can be mixed completely. Two liquids which can be mixed completely. Those are called as miscible liquids.
So in immiscible liquids, sir, we can give the example as oil and water.
Yeah. So immiscible liquids means what? Two liquids which cannot mix it completely. Two liquids which cannot be mixed completely. Those are the immiscible liquids. Okay, this is only simple definition. Miscible liquids you can take milk and water, Salt is not the liquid, right? You can take the milk and water. There is example for the miscible liquids. Immiscible liquids example, oil and water you can take, or honey and water. These are the immiscible liquids. And the gases diffusion means, listen carefully, movement of the gas from high concentration area to the low concentration area. The simple definition for the diffusion is movement of the gas from the high concentration area to the low concentration area. That is only the simple definition for the diffusion. Suppose you are cooking something in the kitchen. The smell will spread all over to the room, right? Or it will spread even from one room to the other room, right? So that type of process is called as diffusion. Or if you spray the perfume at one corner in the room now, the perfume smell will spread to the all over the room, right? So that movement is called as diffusion. Diffusion means what? Movement of the gas from high concentration area to the low concentration area. But
Yes, sir.
effusion means same movement of the gas from high concentration area to the low concentration area, but it is happened through the small tiny hole.
Sir, like gas stove burners.
Yeah, you can take like gas stove burners, or you can take like tire puncture, right? Suppose you have the car tire or the bike tire is there. If you
Yes.
and if you keep one needle on that tire, what will happen? Don't do this experiment in the home,
All
right?
the
Okay.
air will come out.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Don't do this experiment at all in the home. If you keep one needle on the car tire, now what will happen? Whatever the air present inside the tire will come out through a small tiny hole only, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the effusion. Or if you're opening the gas cylinder through a small tiny hole, whatever the gas is there inside the cylinder will come out through the tiny hole only, right? Not from anywhere else. So those type of movement of the gas from high concentration area to the low concentration area through a small tiny hole, that is called as an effusion. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Diffusion means movement of the gas from high concentration area to the low concentration area over a region or a space. There is no tiny hole, there is no large hole like that, anything. Okay. So this is all about your homeworks. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So last class we discussed about the solids, liquids, and the gases, right? That is all about the physical classification of the matter. So today we'll start about the chemical classification of matter. I think already started, right? Elements,
Yeah, yes, yes, sir. We
which is made
started
up
a
of
pure substance and metals and non-metals. We started.
which is made up of only one type of atoms present in the periodic table. Only one 8 elements are there. The next one,
Element.
those elements are classified into metals, non-metals, and we discussed some properties also on that, like lustrous, malleability, and ductility, sonorous,
Can you go up on?
and the good conductor of heat and electricity. The next,
Sir, can you go up?
having high density. Metals are generally having high density. Non-metals are generally having the low densities, right?
Sir, we discussed about sonorous.
Sonorous.
And,
Yeah. Sonorous means what? When you hit the
Sir,
metal, it will produce the sound. If
yeah, yes, sir.
if you hit the metal with the help of some other substance, it will produce a sound. That is called as sonorous. The next one is the good conductor of heat and electricity. Generally, non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity. The next one, generally these are having high densities, and non-metals will have generally low density. The most important point is All metals are solids. Except
Sir, except mercury, which is a
And
liquid.
gallium.
Sir, except mercury and gallium.
mercury. Mercury is a room at room temperature. All are solids only. That is also important. At room temperature. But at room temperature only mercury is the liquid. Gallium is the liquid at 28 degrees to 29 degrees Celsius. Then what is the room temperature here?
So what about bromine, sir?
Bromine is a non-metal, right? We are discussing only about the metals. Okay. So room temperature is nothing but 25 degrees Celsius. What is the room temperature?
25 degrees.
25 degrees Celsius. That is the room temperature. And the mercury is only the metal which is solid, liquid at the room temperature. If you take gallium, gallium also liquid at 28 to 29 degrees Celsius. So at room temperature, we cannot take gallium as a liquid. Okay. But if you take here, non-metals will exist in the solids, liquids, and gases. Solids, liquids, and gases. Metals will be there only in the form of solids except mercury, but non-metal will exist in the form of three different states: solids as well as liquids and the gases. Okay, these are some properties of the metals and non-metals. Then what is the meaning of metalloid?
Which have both the property of metal and non-metal.
Very good. Metalloid means what? The elements which has both the properties of metals and non-metals are called as in metalloids. The elements which has both the properties of metals and non-metals are called as in metalloids. Okay. Then in periodic table, total we have the 7 metalloids are there. How many metalloids are there?
7.
7. Sir, is silicon also a metalloid?
Yeah, silicon is a metalloid, boron is a metalloid, germanium is a metalloid, arsenic, like this. Okay. So we'll discuss the 7 metalloids when we're discussing about the periodic table. I'll explain you complete periodic table. Okay. So the elements which has both the properties of metals and non-metals are called as metalloids. So in periodic table, you have total 7 metalloids are there. Okay. So this is all about the pure substance which comes under the elements as a classification. The next one, what is the definition? So what is another sub-classification in the pure substance? Have you remembered the chart? Matter classification chart?
Yes, sir, mixture.
Is it mixture?
Oh, no, sir, elements and compounds. Sorry, elements and compounds.
Compounds.
The next one is the compounds. Okay. So what is a compound then? What is the simple definition for the compound?
Sir, a compound is a pure substance made up of 2 or more kind of atoms which can be broken into simpler substances.
Which can be or which cannot be?
Which cannot be, I mean.
Okay. The next one?
Sir, I think it's made of different molecules, not atoms.
Okay, made up of different molecules. Okay, next. Next, anyone? Okay, now tell me the examples for the compound. Any example for the compound?
H2O.
So like, yeah.
So H2O, sir.
H2O, very good. Okay.
So the first thing we got in our mind was H2O, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
H2O2.
Yeah, H2O2. But what is the name
Sir,
of
CO2
H2O2?
CO2
also.
as well.
CO2 as well. Okay. See, a compound is a substance. It is a substance in which two or
So even
more.
hydrogen peroxide is also one compound.
Yeah, it is a
Yes,
substance
sir,
in
that's
which
only H2O2.
two or
Oh
more
yeah, yeah.
elements will combine.
Sir, it's two or more.
Will combine
Sir, even carbon monoxide will come, CO.
in a definite ratio.
A fixed ratio by mass.
Definite ratio by mass. Okay, and combined chemically, or you can say combined chemically in a definite ratio. Combined chemically in a definite ratio by mass. That is the definition for the compound. Okay, just add one more point here. Combined
Yes.
chemically.
Sir,
Okay, so compound means what? Is a substance in which two or more elements will be there, which will be combined chemically. That means chemically they will combine. You know chemical change, right? Physical change and the chemical change.
Yes, sir.
sir.
So these two or more elements will undergoes the chemical change, and they will mix only in the definite ratio by the mass. They will mix in the definite ratio by the mass. Suppose if you take your water. So you said example water, right? Whenever the hydrogen and the oxygen is combined in the ratio of, what is the mass of hydrogen here? 2. Because each hydrogen mass is 1. So 2 hydrogens are there. So each mass is 1. So 2 total. And the oxygen mass is 16. So if you take ratio, what is the ratio? 1:8. So whenever the hydrogen and the oxygen are combining in the ratio of 1
Excuse
is
me,
to,
sir.
yeah.
Sir, how do you know the mass of oxygen and all? Like, how it is 16 and 18?
These things you have to remember. Always it is a constant value. The mass numbers for the elements. Okay. I'll teach you that one also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
then there will be also H2O2. There will be again some mass.
Yeah, again, there is a different mass will come based upon the number of atoms.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So compound means what? It is a substance in which two or more elements will combine chemically in the definite ratio by mass. So if you want to form the water molecule, we have to combine the hydrogen to the oxygen in the ratio of 1:8 by mass. Understanding? If you want to get the water molecule, we have to combine the hydrogen to the oxygen.
Can you explain again how it's one?
How it becomes 1:8? That one. Your doubt is?
Sir, our doubt is how one
So
is
like,
to
how is it?
Okay. Suppose if you take the periodic table,
we just cancel it.
okay. If you take the periodic table, each and every element will have the mass numbers. Like hydrogen, you have the mass number 1. Next, helium mass number 4. Lithium mass number 7. Like this. So 118 elements are there, right? 118 elements will have the individual mass numbers. Okay, just your homework
Yes,
today.
sir.
Today's your homework is make a tabular column like this. Okay, the first serial number, the next atom element, the next one symbol. The next one is
So we have tried all 118.
not 118 elements. 1 to 30 is enough. 1 to 30 elements are enough. The next one is a mass number. Sorry, atomic number is this only. Serial number and atomic number both are same. Okay.
Sir, it's not exactly like hydrogen will be like 1, sir. It will be like something like 1.00 something.
1.008 you can take, but whenever you do the calculation, it approximately equal to 1 only, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I was just telling that it's actually like in this.
Yeah. Next one is a mass number. Okay. And leave some gap for this column.
Sir, I've learned every like elements up to 30. So now also I can tell it up to 30.
But is that the valency?
Valence is different thing. That is what we are telling you, right? Just you take
Okay.
this. Okay. So if you write this one in the page, not in the portrait, but if you write in the landscape mode, that's better.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because again we want to hear some more columns. Like afterwards, coming chapters, we'll discuss about the valency, the number of protons, electrons, neutrons, and all we'll discuss here. So if you write this tabular column in the landscape mode, it is better for you. Again and again, you should not draw the tabular columns.
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't make the complete page with only with these columns. So leave some space also is there, at least half page or whatever the space is available to you. Okay. Again, we have to add some 5 to 6 columns here. So the columns I will add afterwards. Okay, these only 3 columns or 4 columns just now came, right? Understanding? Is it understanding for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts on the tabular column?
No, sir.
The first one is
Sir,
atomic.
can you scroll up little? I was noting it down.
Yeah, okay. So first one is atomic number. The next one is the element. Third column is symbol. The fourth column is mass number. And remaining columns I will explain you afterwards. Okay. Again, 5 to 6 columns will come in the same tabular column. Just leave some space. Okay. Now, the compound means what? It is a substance in which 2 or more elements will combine chemically in the definite ratio by mass. Suppose if you take water, water means how many hydrogens are there?
2 hydrogens.
Okay.
And how many oxygens are there?
1.
There is a ratio for the ratio of number of atoms, right?
Yes,
Number of
sir. So then we
atoms.
can tell about CO2, sir. It can be like 1:2.
2. The ratio of number of atoms in the water is what? 2:1. Understand? Okay. But if you take the mass ratio here for the water, each hydrogen will show atomic mass as 1. And each oxygen will show atomic mass as 16. Okay. Now, how many hydrogens are there?
2 hydrogens.
2 hydrogens are there. 2 into 1, each one is 1. So 2 into 1, 2. Yes or no? Next, each oxygen will show 16 atomic mass. So 1 into total only 1 oxygen is there. 1 into 16, so total 16. If you cancel these two, what will happen? 2 ones are
1:8.
2 8s are 16. So 1:8 is the ratio of
Yes, sir.
mass of hydrogen to the oxygen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In H2. This is a hydrogen ratio. This is the oxygen ratio. Understand now how you got 1:8 and 2:1?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose if you take the hydrogen peroxide, then what is the ratio here? First number ratio of number of atoms.
2:2. So 2:2, right?
That is
Sir,
the
it
true
will
ratio.
be 1:1. The
Okay.
ratio of hydrogen to oxygen.
The ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is 1:1 only, but in this case we'll
Sir,
take
but it
2:2
will be
only. In this case we'll take 2:2 only because there is one more compound is there. There is a OH. That is a hydroxide. Okay. Only in this case we don't cancel the ratio numbers.
Sir.
The next one, what is the mass ratio then?
Sir, 2:32, which is equals to 1:16.
What is the mass ratio here?
Sir,
2 is
1:16.
Sir,
2:32,
1:16.
2. That means
which
1 is
is
to.
equals to 1:16.
1:16.
Now H2O2 is a different compound and H2O is different compound, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
For-
sir.
Because of
Yes,
that only we
sir.
got the different mass ratios or not?
Yes, sir.
H2O2 is a different compound than